around.
All right, are we here? I think we're here.
We're here. We're queer.
Yeah.
We're ready.
I just saw a thing on the like the Splatoon thing with the little messages you can you can post, and it says, "I love the LGTV community," instead of the LGBT.
Yo, I love that LG OLEDs. Those things are sick.
LG.
Yeah, I've seen them before. They look really good. Anyway, hi. It's the POS podcast. It's gonna be the last episode we've had for a while. I know it's been a while since the last one. The last one we had was actually in October, so we didn't have anything in November. So this is gonna be the last one for quite a while. I'm not sure when we would come back. Here I'm hearing your keyboard.
You can hear my keyboard. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I was thinking it over, and there's a bunch of things like going on in my life right now that I'm just gonna have to like stop the podcast for a bit. But I still might do some streams like every so often on this channel. Because one thing I realized after going through that is that, oh yeah, the channel needs to stay above 4,000 watch hours to remain monetized. So I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably still do some streams every so often. It might just be like the POS news stuff, but I won't do it like as often as before. But yeah, POS podcast, I'd like to come back sometime in spring. Because that's when some other big things happen, like the Mario Brothers movie will come out around that time. But for now, like the next few months, there won't be any. But we're just gonna have one last big one here with all the main hosts. Tom, I actually didn't know you would be available because I thought you'd. Are you still in Texas right now?
I am still in Texas. It's 8 right now in Texas, so I was confused. Like, we still have an hour, and then I was like, oh wait, no.
Yeah, you're in Central Time. Yeah.
You can get Whataburger whenever, bro. Lucky
Bro, make it
motherfucker.
Whataburger tomorrow.
Bro, do it. Do it.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yes.
Yeah. So, everybody here: Jax Blade, Hirasashi, Saber Spark, Tom. So I guess we can just go ahead and like talk about like what we've been up to past month, and then head right into topics. But for me, I had my wisdom teeth out, which it's funny because like right before I had my wisdom teeth out, or when I was going to get my wisdom teeth out, I was going to try to get them out before the last convention we were at Ponyville Slider Fest. But I was like, oh, I'll probably still be going through like recovery if I get them out before then. And then like at the convention, I was in horrible pain, for a lot of it. But then afterwards, after I got my wisdom teeth out, like that pain's completely gone now, thankfully. So I had to deal with that pain for like 2 weeks after coming back from the convention. But it's fine now. And it's also I'm recovering really well. I can actually eat like solid food now. Stuff still gets stuck in. Stuff still gets stuck in this like one little hole that where one of my wisdom teeth was. But it'll take a while before that closes up. But I have a little syringe thing they gave me that I can use to like squirt water in there to get any like debris that falls in.
Oh, dude, but don't you get to like keep it as a snack for later? Like it's just a little hole.
No one liked that.
I did back in the day when I had mine. Dude, it was horrible. Like I had like these big and like SpaghettiOs. Terrible.
SpaghettiOs.
Yeah. But yeah, Starfest was fun. Then there was Thanksgiving, so that was like over the past month. What about you? Oh, Saber, you just came back from a convention.
Yep, I went to Midwest Fur Fest. That was that was fun.
How was the pizza?
The pizza was good with the Illuminati's, and got some pizza there and some really good hot wings. and just took it all in as far as the differences between a brony convention and a furry, which I'm still trying to just think on it, but I think bronies are a bit more reserved and furries are a bit more outgoing.
Not.
Not. Not?
Uh-huh.
What do you mean?
No, you said bronies are a little more reserved. That you said fairies are a little more, or a little less, and I was like, not.
The let's try to think what else. A lot of fursuits, of course. Went to a Who's Line panel, which didn't even have a stage, and I was like, huh. That was hard to watch. Not like shade to the people hosting it, which was all just them taking volunteers from the audience. But and I'm sure they didn't expect to not have a stage, but that's a pretty big oversight, whether it be AV or the folks hosting it themselves. Saw Malcolm from Channel Awesome there. Saw Kaiser and Echo from Team 4 Star. Saw YMS.
Wait, Malcolm's a furry?
I guess.
Yes.
There's Andrew Callahan, whatever, from Channel 5. I think he was there because he was listed as one of the so on the website for the convention. You can like look up the panels and see who's all going. And like for the Who's Line, I looked, I'm like, wow, it's like 500 people going. I'm doing some different panels, and I saw Andrew's face pop up, and I'm like, it just said Andrew C, and I'm like, oh shit, is he like doing a report here? But he did Midwest Fur Fest before years ago, so he might, maybe it's somebody goofing, or maybe he actually is incognito in a fursuit and having fun. So whatever. But yeah, at first when I was walking around, I was like, this is different. Since burning conventions, there's a lot more routine involved.
Yeah.
But and also I'd say like the crowd at burning conventions, I think they're nerdier. I think they're nerdier.
Oh, wow,
they're,
really? Huh.
I think Bernies are nerdier, at least here. I mean, of course, there's a Venn diagram, and there's overlap, but I think bronies are more introverted, nerdier, and reserved. While furries are a lot more comfortable, ironically, in their skin, and and seem to be more relaxed and casual and just doing their thing. Though, I mean, this is just a few sample pools, so who can say? And I saw some bronies there too. So the dealer's den was fucking amazing. I bought more at this one convention than all conventions combined. For me, I don't buy much so cons though, really, but I bought like a really badass. But I got
bought a whole fursuit. I'm ready for the next one.
I got a cool backpack. Actually, I was surprised because like I think fursuits are kind of dorky in a good way. But I'm just like, yeah, the style for a lot of these things just look a bit silly and just exaggerated, of course, Though I saw some stylized ones there, and even some of the stylized ones, I'm like, yeah, that looks like you're from like the movie Cats, But there was one where I had like this jellyfish fursona, well, I guess whatever fuck you call that, and it was like the jellyfish was like a cool crown around the person's head. I thought that was neat. But the dealer's den, I was like, there's a lot of fucking cool stylized art, like really neat prints, illustrations, D&D campaigns. There was like a D&D group. I say D&D. It was like their own fantasy stories and a bunch of anther characters, and they had an illustration book of concept art, and I was like, this is outstanding. And yeah, the dealers didn't really stole the show. I'm like, God, this is a better economy than America. Like just seeing all the suspiciously wealthy furries just keeping everyone afloat. It's funny because my friend was like, oh, you're a suspiciously wealthy furry. I'm like, kill you. Then trying to think what else there was going on. Saw what I suspect to be a drug enforcement unit at the lobby of the hotel, because there were like 2 officers and then 3 either I doubt it was anything federal. I didn't say federal. I don't know, but like had 3 guys wearing like green kind of like versions of a police officer's outfit, and then there was a drug dog there. And I'm like, wow, someone's really committed to their fursuit. But but no, I was like, okay, there's probably a lot of folks like. I mean, it's a convention. Regardless of what kind of con it is, people are bringing drugs.
Yeah.
So I imagine that's why they were there.
Also, probably the
Um,
sheer size of it, because I just realized, I was like, oh, Midwest Fur Fest is like literally the biggest furry con right now.
I was surprised because
yeah.
like, I was suspecting the biggest furry convention to push like 20,000. It was 13,000 or
13,000,
so.
yeah, which is still bigger than the biggest BronyCon. So
Well, for what it's worth, I'm actually kind of impressed with BronyCon, where I'm like, wow, Bronies are able to
Yeah.
field that large of a convention. I think furries have a broader audience and,
Yeah.
and more, I guess, just a reputation. Well, reputation, but like people know furries more, and I think it's has broader appeal to a broader group. Um, but yeah, every time I left the convention in my Uber, I see like an ambulance pulling up or a cop car, and I'm like, yeah. Um, the sky bridges between the Hyatt to the convention center was pretty stuffy, but like like I got to meet YMS at the convention, and I had dinner with him and his boyfriend, and um, YMS said something about how like someone actually measured the carbon levels of the hallway and said that actually was a concerning level. That if you stood in the hallway for too long, like you could actually get lightheaded, probably from just how much carbon is in that room. Um, it wasn't very well ventilated. It's very skinny little sky halls, but like of course, like they weren't made with fursuits in mind. So
Right.
I'm trying to think what else. There's a cool fursuit dance competition I checked out. That was a big audience, over 1,000 people. That was fun. All in all, I think it's just similarities to MomoCon and pony conventions, and that it's just people having fun, hanging out. That's it.
Yeah.
There were some moments where I'm like, that's a bit lewd, with just some of the outfits.
I saw some like that
Yeah.
were posted.
There's a few that were, I'd say, a little jarring. And I'm pretty well initiated when it comes to weird shit, where I'm like, yeah, that could be what defines someone's, view of a furry. Because the thing is, furries aren't, they aren't explicitly sexual. There are furries who are just straight up like, hey, it's not sexual, it's just something different. My character and how it's, I guess, a character for me. I think there's a lot of cool appeal with that. But then for a lot of other folks, it is absolutely sexual. And I guess kudos to the community for being as, I guess, relaxed and as well communicated. Wow, of all words to screw up on. For just they seem like they've done this many times before, and they're very relaxed and open about who they are and what they do, and that there's an understanding for the most part. So yeah, that was my takeaway.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear more about it. Because I know you're working on a big like anthro video.
Yeah. And we'll see how that goes.
What about you, Tom? Because I know you're in Texas right now.
Yes, I'm a humble East Coast boy, far away from home, and I'm very confused. It's like, I think the moment I realized that, like, oh man, yeah, this is very different. And it was such a subtle little thing. We went to Home Depot, and it's obviously, December. I'm like, what's so weird about Home Depot right now? Why do I feel like this isn't correct? And then I realized, oh, it's December and there are lawnmowers out on display. There's no snow blowers because it doesn't snow here. It's like it's December and it's like 77 degrees out. I'm like, this is so based. Goodbye, snow. I never wanted to see you again. So just like snow blowers, like, what do you mean? And it's like, yeah, look, I have some trauma. Okay, I gotta get over it. Everybody who doesn't deal with snow, you don't know how good you have it. All right, having to like wake up like an hour before you actually have to go anywhere and like dig your car out of the snow and then have it running for like 25 minutes so it can heat up. It's not.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not.
I'm so glad I don't have to
Don't
deal
get
with
Christmas
that.
pills with snow. It's not true. It's all a lie.
What
Yeah,
about
I've
you?
just been like looking for stuff and hanging out and trying to get work done. That's it. The usual. and being weird that there's no snowblowers out in
Yeah.
December.
What about you, Jax?
Work. YouTube stuff. Work, YouTube stuff, more. Went to Gabe's wedding, talked before, but that was fun last month. What else? No, that's pretty much it. Like, I just go into my cycle of work, YouTube, all that stuff. During this time of year, it's a lot of work for me as a coach because everyone like gets the
Yeah.
new year, new body thing. So, yeah, just staying busy and grinding. When this
Yeah. Hero, what about you? I don't
Yeah.
remember if the last podcast, because like I said, last podcast was like in October. So, I don't know if you said you had a dog. Like,
Yes.
then.
I don't know. I got a dog on September 1st.
Okay.
She's
So we might have like talked about it.
probably by now, but yeah, I have a dog. She's wonderful, and also the most hyper being on the planet. I don't understand. She's also looking at me right now. Hi, girl. But yeah, I have been, as the end of the year loves to throw at me, working. I'd like to stop working, but aside from that.
Yeah, I kind of understand it with like some certain like jobs of like during November and December because like all the things have
insurance.
yeah
Open
everything needs to like put out their stuff for the holidays before like all that revenue just drops like in January. So
yeah, and like for health insurance in particular, it's when open enrollment's happening.
oh
so-
yeah, that makes
So
sense.
that's why
Yeah.
I'm always so busy at this time. But yeah. It's great. And by it's great, I'm just like, I mean, is what I actually mean. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. Just been trying to play games, been training my dog. It's been fun.
Good.
Nice.
You know.
Yeah, I saw the video you posted of you having her play dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Is
doing
she
well.
is she a fast learner?
Yes, extraordinarily, like strangely so.
Cool.
So yeah, she's also again too energetic, which causes problems actually. But it's okay. We'll learn to channel that energy positively rather than tackling people. Not in aggression, but she's just like, I want to play with you right now. It's like you gotta chill. But yeah, no, she's good.
It's pretty different compared to a cat, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely.
You're always on alert.
Always looking out. It was like, what are you eating? What are you eating? What is that?
Right.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to topics. Before I do, if you want to ask questions, either you can send a super chat or ask on Twitter. Either way, I'll try to go through questions as they come in, or like after we go after topics. I mean, and I only have a few topics here, mainly just going over some stuff that we saw over the past few weeks. And then we'll go to Q&A, and then we'll end the show. So, first up, I know that me and Saber can talk about this, because we saw it. I don't know if anybody else here saw it, but me, Saber, and Laura watched it during Ciderfest. And that was weird. The Al Yankovic story, which is the mockumentary about Weird Al's life as a musician, which is basically just a satire of musician biopics. And it was pretty funny.
It was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it made fun of a lot of the different tropes with musician biopics, like the whole like getting discovered, the party with a bunch of like famous musicians or celebrities at the time, which is funny. It had a bunch of celebrities like playing different like comedians at the time with that party. Like they had Jack Black in there playing as that Wolfman comedian from the 80s. And there's also the trope of like, oh yeah, like a drug addiction or like it goes really off the rails with the whole Madonna thing, because that had been like a rumor with Weird Al for a very long time, so they just rolled with it, and just exaggerated it so much, because like literally the whole thing with Weird Al and Madonna is like, oh yeah, they just talk to each other for like a couple minutes, and that's it. Like behind stage, well, on one show. So they just made that into a whole thing. And it is Saber, what did you think of it? Because I know you've seen some musician biopics. I know you watched like the Motley Crue one with me before.
I thought it was great. Very silly, and I mean, Weird Al makes fun, does satirical parodies, whatever. And then for him to do the same for movies, it just seems very poetic. I thought it was just a good love letter to him, his brand of humor. I think some folks love it a lot more than I do, but I still enjoyed it. There's some pretty good laugh out loud moments. Daniel Radcliffe did a pretty good job of playing it very straightforward. It was exactly what I was hoping for. I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah, they had that whole thing of like, oh, because it starts out with like, oh yeah, he's writing parody songs, but then it becomes where like, oh yeah, there's that whole rumor back in the day of like, oh, which came first? Did the parody song come first, or did the actual song come first? And like, they kind of turned it on its head, where it's like, oh yeah, now Weird Al's making all these original songs, and everybody else is like copying him, which I thought that was pretty funny.
But did people actually question if parodies came before
back in the day?
songs?
Like, it just rumors just went around.
Huh. Okay.
Because of like, I guess just the popularity or whatever, or people just making big jokes about it. But yeah, it was fun. Not as funny as I thought it would be, but still very fun. Next, let's talk about Zootopia Plus, which we've all seen. And this had 6 episodes on Disney Plus, all shorts, that take place like during the movie, basically.
Yes.
At different parts in the movie, though there are some like flashbacks in some. Like there's the one that takes place with Judy's parents chasing after their kid who gets stuck on the train. The real like mousewives, is that what they were saying? No, it was called the Little Rodents of Rudentia. Yeah. And the Duke the musical with Duke Weaselton, the Godfather of the Bride, the Prancing, was it Prancing with the Stars? And then Dinner Rush. But those, they're all very fun. They're very short. They're only like 5 to 6 minutes each. But they explore a lot of different things with the world that I want to see more of. Especially the episode with Godfather of the Bride, showing that Zootopia wasn't always the way that it is, with like all its like fancy technology and stuff. And like back in the day, that little rodentia wasn't even a thing. That any like rodents just had to be around these big animals all the time, and that the polar bears, they didn't have any like place like Tundra Town where they're just like burning up in the heat. So I thought that was interesting, exploring that like lore of Zootopia. As far as overall enjoyment though, like I really liked Dinner Rush. That one was very funny. I thought that was a good one to like end it on. And also they kind of have it by episode, like what point in the movie it's happening. Whereas like the one with Bonnie and I forgot the father's name.
Stu,
yeah. That happens at the very, very beginning. the point where the donut almost crushes the shrew. But yeah, it's very fun. I think it's a very fun series.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it was a pretty fun show. Again, it wasn't something I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. It was just like, oh yeah, this is just a fun little thing, fun, fast. They're definitely saving stuff for hopefully a sequel, I'm hoping. And yeah, I enjoyed like each and every one of the shorts and stuff like that. I think the only short, no, I would say like honestly, each and every one of them, I was like, okay, that's funny, that's tracking, that's there. But like you can also see our full reactions on Race's channel
Yeah, yeah.
if you want or stuff like that, because we like did a react to it. But like, oh yeah, overall, I thought it was just like a fun little short series.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on it?
Hero.
He's muted.
Oh, Hero's muted. Tom, did you see it?
I actually haven't seen it yet, so
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't say any spoilers. But okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's a lot of fun. I do hope they do more stuff. Either like with a sequel or more of these shorts or some kind of series.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the aesthetic's really fun and the world building stuff is really interesting. So I definitely
Yeah.
want to check it out at some point.
Oh, definitely.
All right, next thing. I think only me and Jax can talk about this. Wakanda Forever. That came out last month.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever. So, in my opinion, I think this film, I know a lot of people have been either mixed on it or really love it or really hate or something like that. And again, for me, I would say I enjoyed the film for like it pulled on my emotions and stuff like that. Like the whole stuff.
Oh
with,
yeah,
like,
with
yeah.
the beginning and also the very end is like, oh god.
Yeah, no, exactly. The entire thing with them, like that like had me tearing up. I know some Hispanic viewers were saying like that they didn't like Namor for some reason, but then I've met a lot who also love him. So like I don't know how people do it. So I'll just say for me personally, I really thought the actor did a great job with him. Again, because it's crazy comparing comics to this and stuff like that. And they did the wings on the feet. They actually made that legit. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, that actually works in live action now. That's awesome. And then the only thing I thought was like kind of silly was he had this fucking septum piercing and he gets clocked in the face like numerous times. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, that shit should be out. That shit should be out, or like you should have been like, okay, no, let me take this out for a second. Let's go, because like, yeah, he was getting effed up.
The one thing I thought was kind of cheesy is how he got the name Namor is like, oh yeah,
Love No More.
El Nino non Namor. I was like, oh, is that what you did? It's
Right. No, yeah, they had to do something because I guess they just didn't want to be like in the comics.
Yeah, because they completely changed like his origin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's still a mutant and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I
he's
did
still
like
a mutant
that.
though. Yeah,
And they didn't play the X-Men theme, so that was good. And then the whole thing with like Riri, like again, my whole thing with like I don't mind Riri, but the way they implemented her, just like, oh, by the way, we have a Iron Man girl, because like again, like Riri's from the comics. If you read the comics, you know who freaking like Ironheart is and stuff like that. But like if you don't, but like I'm just gonna go in there as some fucking boomer like. Always with the fucking diversity shit. Like it's just like, okay, so you're just telling me there's this freaking random woman who can do this. And of course, like there's a ton of people like this in Marvel. So like it tracks now, especially from like the TV series. Like they have like a ton of these like prodigies and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like it would have been better like to hint at her instead of giving her like the full suit. So for example, like in the movie, she straight up just becomes like you see this in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. You see she straight up becomes like female Iron Man in the trailer, like she becomes in the comics, stuff like that. I feel like it would have been better for them to wait and be like, oh, this is Riri Williams. So if you know, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Ironheart. And so like then she like helps him out and does all the stuff without giving the whole Ironheart like aesthetic right then and there, because it just felt like, okay, that feels a bit rushed. And I feel like it's just a cooler thing to build up to. But anyways, yeah, I thought the film, I'd say it's probably, for me personally, I would say it's my not, I wouldn't say like it, like of course nothing compares to like No Way Home or anything like that, but it was like I thought it was just pretty good. I thought it was. Let me see. Where would I rank it? Yeah, I think it's honestly like my second favorite MCU thing they've done. Like I had a good time with it. I really enjoyed it. Like there's some stuff, of course, where it's just like, whatever. But like for the majority of like phase 4, I've just been like sort of indifferent. Like there've been some things I like because like I love Haley Steinfeld, so of course I'm gonna love Hawkeye. I loved freaking, of course, Spider-Man No Way Home for all the reasons, because it's literally like building that up for the entire year. And then like the theater experience with No Way Home is like what made that movie even more, because it's like, oh yeah, we're next to these fucking strangers getting hype with each other.
Speaking of theater experience.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I forgot to mention when I went to go see Black Panther in the very beginning, like Jax was saying, it's a very like sad beginning.
Yeah, very.
Because Chadwick Boseman isn't with us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very sad beginning. There was somebody in the front of the audience that had their phone out at the max brightness, and they were told multiple times to like turn it off by people yelling in the back at them. And then like once somebody got up, like the person heard someone get up and like they put it away. Like just like, oh man, because like I could physically feel the audience getting angry.
No, exactly. There's some people like just need that shit. Cause like it's like, yeah, some people just need to be like punk like that, because it's just like whatever. But like it's like there's those times where it's like, well, I don't want to do it because I want to watch this movie and I don't feel like I
right.
So it's like it's nice with a person that's just like, yo, fuck it, let's do this. Cause like, there could be an incident like I mentioned earlier this year in the Batman when those two people started getting into it, and I was just like, what is going on here? This is like the actual Batman movie. But yeah, like it's just people need to learn to shut the fuck up. It's ridiculous. But I'm glad they were able to shut it then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that ruined a little bit of the beginning of the movie for me. But the end, like I could hear like people sniffling in the audience because of what happens at the end, which I won't give away.
Yeah. No, exactly. It was that. I thought that was really well done there, and I'm glad that they have like a stinger, but it's not like after credits. It's just like no, here you go.
Yeah.
You can see this mid one, and then you get out of here and you go. Like it's not like they're making you stay. So I appreciate that. I felt very respectful.
I'm just curious what kind of person it takes for people to say out loud, like, "Hey, put your phone away," and they just like don't. But like once somebody gets up, they're like, "Oh shoot!" Like, what kind of person is that?
No, it's just that there's people.
Yeah,
like,
but they were told multiple times. Like I heard like, "Hey, put your
nothing."
Yeah, hey,
No,
turn your phone off. And then I heard like one person behind me is like, "Turn your fucking phone off!" Like very like sternly. And then somebody got up.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
because like some people they need to be checked like that. Like that's a sad there's some people who are just like so ignorant, like they're so used to being behind the screen, like, yeah, okay, you ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit. And then it's just like, okay, fine, you do this. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Because it's just like, fuck off. Like some people just need that punking. Because just
yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway, Wakanda Forever. I know it'll be on Disney Plus soon, probably. Because how long has it been?
Waiting a bit.
Yeah,
it
might wait until like after the holidays.
No, they said like they were gonna wait for this one because they wanted more people to see it theatrically. I don't remember one specifically, but it should be done soon.
Yeah, it's been doing well though. It's gotten like over 770 million worldwide so far. So
good.
Yeah,
good. That's awesome.
All right. Next, another Marvel thing before we move on to other things, and this one's a short one. But the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
That was good.
Yeah, it was surprisingly very funny. With just Drax and Mantis, mostly.
Yeah, they even brought in Cosmo, the space doll. I thought that was like cool.
Yeah.
I was just like, but yeah, she's like, because she's been there. I want to say since first one or Infinity War, but it's just like, oh, it's finally cool that they like let her talk, because like in the like other, because she the dog was in the video game too, but they gave him a Russian accent. But they've also been the cartoons as well, so like it's always fun to see how they went with it. So that was awesome. Overall, I thought that was just like a fun special. I didn't enjoy it as much as the Werewolf by Night special, just because I'm a horror geek. But I thought it was like just super entertaining to see them like go and beat up Kevin Bacon. The only thing I feel bad for is now I hope they can still use Kevin Bacon somehow as an actor, just because he's so good. Like, he's such a great villain. Like I love how they were all like, oh, he's a fucking actor, gross, ugh, like shit like that. That was funny. But then also like Groot, I don't know what the fuck he's been eating, but like he bulked the fuck up. Like he is way bigger, like Brolic.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looks like a fucking brick house now. It's just like, what the fuck did he eat? But no, that was cool. You know, yeah. Overall, I thought it was just like it was short too. Like I think Marvel is doing really well with these
Yeah,
shorts.
yeah,
They're
because
all-
these special presentations are only like 44 minutes or whatever.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like 44 minutes. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, but I thought it was a fun time. Fun time.
Yeah,
Really
it's
well
funny because
done.
like this came out and then like a few days later the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer came out.
Yep. So
Which that looks fun.
No, that looks well, it looks sad to be honest. Like there's a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff that there was just like, well, because like they say it's like the last one Gunn is doing, so it's just like, so I'm feeling like, of course, some people are gonna probably die in it, just like that's how they affect on the stuff. So I was like,
Yeah. All right. Next up, Strange World, which me and Saber watched.
Tom saw it too.
And
I
nobody.
did also see it.
Oh, Tom, you saw it? Okay.
Yeah, we saw it in the theater together.
Okay. So yeah,
He took me on a date. He was really sweet.
do what?
He took me on a date. He was really sweet.
Oh.
About popcorn.
did he put out?
Laura might have been there, but it was really a date for us.
So yeah, Strange World is not doing very well at all. I don't know if it'll do well on Disney Plus or not. But good, because I know with Encanto that that grew in popularity after it was on Disney Plus and after like we don't talk about Bruno like hit the charts, but this isn't a musical, so it doesn't have that advantage.
Right.
Which I think is another reason why this didn't do well, is because it's not a musical. And people are just so used to Disney musicals, and
Wait, is it Disney or Pixar?
It's Disney.
Oh, okay, shit.
Because I find that their adventure films rarely, if ever, do well. I don't know if Raya did that well in theater. Well, the thing is, like, Raya was also like the premiere access thing. That's when like we were still at the tail end of COVID. So I don't. But there's also the whole thing with like Bob Iger just became the new new CEO again. After Bob Chapek just got booted out. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen with this film in the future. But anyway, I enjoyed it. Though I do recognize it does have a lot of flaws in it. But I enjoyed it for like the speculative biology aspect of it, because I love stuff like, you know, Alien Planet and The Future is Wild and all that stuff. So I thought all that stuff was really cool. And then once I realized like, it's a big spoiler if you haven't seen the film. Once you realize what's the world actually is, you're like, oh, that's why it works like that. But yeah, I'm curious to hear Tom, your thoughts on the movie.
I went in with low expectations. I think it's because me and Saber both kind of knew that it was kind of getting bombed on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was kind of going in and being like, oh, well, this is gonna suck. I thought it was okay. I think we both kind of agreed that like the 70-ish% critic rating seemed pretty much on the money. It seemed kind of like a 7 out of 10. It wasn't amazing or anything, but it was well paced. It was well acted. It was well animated. Everything about the movie was very serviceable. It wasn't. I don't think it's going to be like a modern Disney classic or anything like that. But if you want to go have a good time at the theaters, I think that's not a bad option. If it's even still in theaters at this point, if it's doing that bad. I mean, I like the kind of like pulp sci-fi comic kind of aspect to it. I really like the way the beginning was animated. I really wish the entire.
Oh yeah, the like the comic book. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either. I was like, oh, that's neat. Can you do that more?
I think I said it to Saber, and then like we used it in the video he did on it, of just being like, it's like the Kung Fu Panda syndrome of like starting like doing like that brief intro with like a really cool aesthetic.
Yeah.
And then dropping it for the rest of the movie and being like, but that was so much cooler. Like go back to that, you know. because like the plot, when you think about it, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's one of those things where you really have to just suspend your disbelief. And I think keeping that like cartoony look would kind of have helped like
Yeah.
do that, like keeping you in the mind of like I'm in a pulp comic right now, so like don't like think too much about this. But like the characters were good. The it was fine. It was just good. It was a good movie. It wasn't great. I probably won't rewatch it anytime soon. But for what it was, I think it was fine.
Yeah. One thing, because I know that like this has been talked about before with Disney. It was like, oh yeah, Disney's like first gay character or whatever, but it's like always been like some
Right.
side character or some like character in the background that can be like easily edited out. But like this is like, oh no, this is a main character, like that is like just straight up gay. And they don't really make a big deal out of it. He's just
No,
like,
they don't.
yeah,
There was a moment when I thought they might draw more attention to it with when
the grandfather.
what's his yeah, when the grandfather's like, so you got any girls? And he's like, no, I have a guy I'm interested in. And I was just like, is this gonna be the moment? And they're like, all right, tell me more about him. I'm like, ooh, we dodged that bullet, I guess.
Yeah,
Um yeah, it's weird because like nobody's really talking about this film. I don't think it was very advertised. It feels like Disney's kind of like just like shoveling it under the rug, so to speak, or sweeping it under the rug, whatever the fucking thing
yeah.
is. And that
I think
really
I
seems
think it has to
probably the
deal with a
reason
lot of
why-
different factors with this movie.
Right.
It's a very weird concept because like with the advertisements I have seen for the film, when you look at those advertisements, you're like, what the fuck is this movie about? Because you don't really know if it's like, is this like a different world or like, I mean, it's called Strange World, but it's like, is this on Earth? Is this a different planet? Is this a different dimension? It was like, it's very confusing for like a normal audience to grasp.
Sure.
But then there's also like, is Disney also suppressing it? Is like the fact that they just had a major shift, with the CEO and all that, or was it Bob Chapek's fault? Like,
Is Iger like back
Yeah.
already, or is he?
yeah,
going
he's back now.
When did he get reinstated? When did he start his new Game
He
Plus
got
run as
got
CEO?
reinstated like I think like right after this movie.
Okay, so like he probably didn't have anything to do with it then, right? This probably was
Yeah.
still Chapek's decision. I feel like there's like some. It takes a while for that for a big ship like Disney to turn, even for something like this.
Yeah.
Because like the movie didn't get really released that much internationally, right? Because of the gays.
Yeah,
It didn't-
I believe so. Not
I'm
not a lot.
assuming Disney was probably like, just scuttle it. Don't spend any money on
Yeah.
advertising. We can't make our money back in the international.
Another thing
market.
too, because
Just
like
sweep it under the
I see a
rug.
lot of toys in like Walmart and stuff of like there's still a lot of toys for Encanto, and also still a lot of toys for Lightyear because I think they thought Lightyear was going to be a big hit. With Strange World, there's nothing. And they usually have something for their films. Even like Raya and the Last Dragon had some like toys and stuff. I don't see anything for Strange
That
World.
costs extra money.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't think it's like a great movie or anything, but it deserved its at bat if nothing else.
Yeah. Also, I like the dog. The dog was fun. I didn't know the dog was going to be like a 3-legged dog.
Yeah, it was cool.
Saber, you have any thoughts before we move on?
Not really. I think Tom caught it mostly.
But yeah, we'll see what happens when it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when it hits Disney Plus. Because I know when like somebody was saying in the chat, like when Raya hit Disney Plus, that it gained more popularity a little bit, and then Encanto definitely did. I don't know about this one though, but we'll see. All right, next, I'm gonna talk a little bit about this because not everybody has seen it yet. I got to see it really early. Because they had a 2 p.m. showing on like the
I'm
weekend
gonna
after Thanksgiving.
Peace out, by the way, if you're going to talk about Puss in Boots.
Okay,
take me
I'll
down.
tag you when you come back in. I'm not going to talk about like any spoiler stuff though. For those in the chat. But Puss in Boots, I am very impressed, and I think that's why DreamWorks decided to do an early showing of it. because like we talk about like Spider-Verse a lot and how like it's been influencing the industry. This is like, oh yeah, this is something that they wanted to do the stylization, but also I was very surprised by what they did with the characters and the story in this movie. Because there's like a sort of a lesson in this movie about like, I mean, I've been writing a video about this movie that I want to try to get out before like has a wider release. But it's like about facing your fears basically. With Puss in Boots, because like in the trailer you see like that Puss in Boots is like he's on his last life, and that makes him develop a fear of death. And I was very surprised that like this movie went that far with that kind of concept, for this character, for like a character in the Shrek universe of all things. And all the characters are very fun in this movie. There's a character of Puss in Boots, obviously. There's the little chihuahua that he hangs out with, and then there's Kitty Softpaws that was in the first Puss in Boots movie. Which, by the way, you don't need to see the first Puss in Boots movie to understand what's going on in this movie. You don't even need to know like the Shrek universe that much. Like as long as you're like aware of like it's like a fairy tale world with a bunch of these fairy tale like legends and stuff. But it's animated very well, but the thing that impressed me the most was the fact that they really nailed a really good story with this character. And he has a really great arc throughout the movie. And it also relates to like other characters in the movie. Oh, wait, reconnected? Am I reconnected? Am I still here?
I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, my OBS said like, well, I was disconnected for a minute, and that scared me.
Oof.
Okay, I'm still live. Okay. But anyway, yeah, like some other characters that are also after this wish, which is like it's a wishing star that they're after, because it'll grant anyone anything they desire. And each character wants a different thing, chasing after it. But it's a really great movie. With this and the bad guys, I'm very impressed by DreamWorks this year. I think they've been chasing like stylization a lot, but also like improving their stories a lot. And this, to be honest, I think might have a better story than the bad guys.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like I was that impressed with the story.
Okay. I thought this movie like aesthetically looked interesting, but I figured that was gonna be the best thing about it. But if it has like really good writing, I'll definitely have to make some time to check it out then.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely recommend watching it. It comes out on the 21st as a wide release. I believe it's the 21st. It says Christmas, but it's actually, like days before Christmas. But there was like that early showing that happened like after Thanksgiving, and that's why I went to go see that, because I wanted to see it early. But yeah, I was very impressed by it. Because like the first Puss in Boots is like, oh, that's an okay movie. But this is like, oh yeah, this is really good. Both like visually and storytelling wise. All right. Let me bring Saber and Hero back here, and then I'll go to the next thing. All right. So, Tom, you and I can talk about this one. Sonic
Frontiers.
Sonic Frontiers.
You and Tom can talk about. I went to get a bagel.
Oh yeah, Jax, you can. I said Jax. Jax.
Jocks, yeah, I am a jock. Yeah, I
Damn.
can
Yeah.
talk about this too.
Stereotyping our friend.
Yeah.
Jackson
So
here.
Tom, did you finish the game?
I did finish Frontiers. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I did too.
I did not.
I think you liked it more than I did.
Yeah, I think I liked it more than you did. I do understand the frustrations over the game though.
And I'm in the middle.
How far did you get?
Me? I got stuck at the
Yeah.
second boss, sadly.
Okay,
And then,
okay.
but I got stuck, and then I went to play God of War, which I'll talk about after this. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
hell
I do
yeah.
have that after this.
Good, perfect.
But yeah, Sonic Frontiers, fun little open worlds, open worlds, because like each level has like it's like open zone, and then there's like these I forgot what they were called, the like
The cyber stages.
the cyber stages and the different portals that you go through, which are pretty
Mhm.
fun. But also has very strange like movement sometimes.
Oh my god. That is like the cardinal sin of this game,
Yeah,
which I don't understand. It's a very strange physics system that they're using to control the character. And like halfway through the game, I just went and installed a momentum mod, which made it a lot better. Other than this few areas where you just get fired off into the stratosphere because the game's
yeah,
not expecting you to keep momentum, which kind of breaks some things. Um, there's the bones of a fantastic game here, and I think that's kind of what kept me going, was that like I could see what they were trying to build, and I really like that.
yeah.
I think this is like I'm just praying to God, because I got into it on Twitter with somebody about this game. Um, but I just pray to God that they iterate on this formula, because Sonic Team has done a lot of things where they'll just like introduce a gimmick for one game and then throw it away and
Yeah.
make a new gimmick for the next one. But I
Yeah.
really think they're onto something with Frontiers in terms of like changing the way Sonic controls in terms of like fighting. Like it's not just jumping, you have like a move set and stuff that really emphasizes his speed. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that could really be iterated on. I think that's really cool.
Yes.
I think the open world is a good idea because Sonic go fast. So give him
Sonic
the
go
ability to go
fast.
fast.
Yeah, give
You
him space
know?
to go fast.
The problem is because of the lack of momentum, it definitely feels like there's like three speeds that you basically go,
Yeah, it's
and
strange
that's
because like in
it
the beginning
doesn't
of the
feel.
game, it asks you, it was like, have you played a Sonic game before? It's like, oh, do you want it like the slower mode or like the go fast mode? Is like the high speed mode. I was like, I'll go to the high speed mode.
Yeah, high speed.
I played a Sonic game before, but then when I play the game, I'm like, I'm not going very fast.
Well, I was curious because I chose action mode because I was just like, I mean, I want to.
I don't want to get my ass.
Well, I wasn't sure if high speed mode was going to take out like the more actiony combat that I was the whole reason I wanted to try the game in the first place.
No,
So
I
I was
don't.
like, I'm just going to. So like, apparently all it does is it changes the camera FOV and stuff. Like you can, it just changes this presets for the FOV sliders and stuff. So it doesn't actually make the game go any faster. It just pulls the camera in more while you're running to make it feel like you're going faster.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was just like, because I was like thinking like, because I got halfway through the game and I was getting frustrated. I'm like, am I just a loser playing on action mode? Do I need to go to high speed mode? Do I got to start a new game? So I looked it up, and that was what the difference was. But it's just like some camera and FOV tweaks mostly that you can manually change in the settings. But I mean, I'm not a huge fan of open world games in general. So the fact that there's like tons of just like empty tasks that include like jump on a block and run in a circle for 3 seconds, probably irked me more than it would irk a lot of other people. The actual levels are pretty much all recycled from previous Sonic games, apparently, that I haven't played. Which kind of feels like a cop out, I guess. But I mean, it's fine. If the physics on the character were better, I think they'd be more enjoyable. But Sonic feels floaty and sticky at the same time, depending on what you're doing, which is very strange.
It's very weird.
You'll like be going at top speed and then you jump and you just stop. And because no modern platformer character controls this way, it makes certain jumps that should be very intuitive kind of confusing, because you expect that your momentum will carry you, and it doesn't. So if you're not actively hitting forward, you'll just start falling, and it's like, oh, okay. So there's a lot of, it just feels like eventually, like we're kind of at the point now in 3D game design where like certain genres have kind of like conventions that you can expect.
Yeah.
And platformers, we've kind of decided that there's like a general feel that most 3D platformers will conform to, and then we'll build their own mechanics kind of on top of that. And Frontiers kind of throws all that out the window. It's like, we're going to reinvent this for some reason, which kind of has a knock-on effect for a lot of stuff. But Supersonic was fucking sick.
And the music was fucking sick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the music's
all those
amazing.
fights were hype as fuck. That was like the only reason I kept playing. I just wanted to get to the next Supersonic fight so I could fucking jam out.
Right.
Dude, live and learn. Move aside. We now have Undefeatable. Let's
Undefeatable
fucking
is
go.
so great. I've been
It's
listening to
fucking
that like
high
whenever I
up.
go to the post office.
Dude, it's so damn good. Oh my god. Like, yeah, because again, like for me, when I was playing this game, at first I was just like, okay, it's fun, open world. Like it's one of those games you sort of turn your brain off to. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm just running around. Like if I want to kill type or just relax, just running around is fun. Like doing that, just like going places. But yeah, like the menial tasks after a bit, we're just like, what's going on here? Yeah, some of the levels, excuse me, were like a bit. I like there sometimes I'm like, should I get this? Do I have to do this right now, or can I do it later? If I do this right now, can I unlock this part of the map? Can I go up here? Can I do this? Like there's a bunch of stuff like that had me like asking questions. Excuse me.
It
Oh, go ahead.
is. It is insanely easy to break this game, and I did it by accident by
Oh,
the
yeah?
third world. Yeah, like the fly loop, the ability where you can just run around in a circle, and like
Right.
it's for certain puzzles or for stunning enemies or breaking blocks and stuff like that.
Right.
If you just do that when nothing's around, you'll get free rings.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You get infinite rings.
But
Infinite
in
range.
addition, you also get memory tokens, attack ups, and defense
Yeah.
ups randomly while doing that. So instead, when you get to a new world, instead of like going around and running around for like the better part of an hour trying to collect enough tokens for the next like character you need to talk to, you can just stand next to them and run in circles for like 20 minutes and get all the items you need.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fact that they let that happen is kind of mind-boggling. And then, so I figured this out by like the third world where I had to start talking to Tails. So I just like for 20 minutes I just ran around in circles, looping, and I had like 75 memory tokens, and I was like, all right, well I just broke this level. And then like right next to that first part of Tails, like there are certain springs where you can jump off of that are like glowing with like a blue glow. And if
Right.
you have like the skill unlocked, you'll have the ability to
do,
like
like, the
do
tricks?
some like cool like tricks and gain XP. And then
Mhm.
right next to the first thing with Tails, there's a spring there that just launches you up in the air with the glow, and you can just jump on it once and it'll just keep you jumping indefinitely. If you keep doing tricks, in like 10 minutes, I got to 99 level XP, so I got to unlock the entire skill tree. And I'm like, they need to fix this game.
This game broke.
So by the end of my first playthrough, I think I had something like 273 XP or like level points because I'd so quickly bought the entire tree.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
get the
Like-
entire tree like fairly early, even without doing that.
Yeah,
Really?
it's pretty nuts.
Oh, I didn't even
So-
know that. Shit.
Yeah. And then like the fishing mini game is super broken. It's so easy, and you can just buy attack and defense ups for like
yeah,
2
it was like,
points.
why are they
And each
available
fish gives
here?
you, like 50, and I'm like, what is going on? So like you can just like destroy this game,
Yes.
which is pretty funny. I really liked the design of some of the enemies, how they're kind of like almost like little puzzles. The problem is like the mechanics just don't work reliably enough for some of those to work. And the
Yeah,
wonky
some
physics
of
don't
them
help
like
either.
every time I was like on one of the squids, the one where you like run on,
Oh god, yeah.
yeah, I was like, man, like I keep losing rings because like I can't like reliably see like when the like
Yeah.
fireballs like hit me.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
It's and like the thing is like because there's no momentum or anything, like if you don't have full rings, it takes so much longer to get to the front. Because when you
Yeah.
have full rings, you get a speed boost. And it boggles my mind that there's a little cutscene that plays every time you hit max rings and you can't disable that. So
Yeah.
the game just freezes and you watch the little video of you like
Turning
like,
fucking
this is
With
the
your
first
eyes.
time.
Yeah.
with a
Like,
fucking
come
like
on.
Ben Schwartz style Sonic fucking
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
I need more blue.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. There's like a lot of strange decisions made in this game because it just wouldn't be a Sonic Team game if there weren't some bizarre decisions made. But I feel like this is the closest they've come to like moving the series in a new positive direction. I'm never going to get Sonic Adventure 3. It's never going to happen. Spark the Electric Jester 3 exists, so I guess I can have it through that, even though it's not really the same. But I'm never going to get SA3, even though that's what I really want. But this is a good consolation prize. Just go back to more traditional physics,
Yeah.
please.
Nice. Nice.
All
Yeah.
right.
And keep bringing back the dudes to make more fucking banger boss themes, because like you've set the bar
Yeah,
now.
those are right.
In a world with no more Metal Gear Rising, you're carrying the torch.
Yes. That was. Oh God, that was fun.
All right, Jax.
Yes.
You want to talk about God of War? Don't spoil anything though.
I won't spoil anything. I won't spoil anything at all. So I'll say this: if you've played, because I know some people were asking, like, do I have to play like the original trilogy or the like all the God of War games before I played like the Norse fabled God of War section? All right, I would say you don't have to, but it makes it so much more enjoyable. Like I would say, like the emotional resonance you get from those games hits a lot harder if you have like at least some understanding of what happened previously. Because
Is it
it's
like,
just like okay,
if you just play like the first 3,
like I mean, like if
like
you
one,
play,
2, and 3?
they reference all
Yeah.
of them. They reference
Okay.
all in this one, like because there's so many different side things you could do. They reference all the stuff, so you could like just get like a bunch of stuff. Like there's certain things where I'm like, oh shit, they finally referenced that thing. I thought they wouldn't okay, and so it's just like cool. And then I'll start off with like some negative stuff like that. So like one, I still don't like that Kratos and Atreus can't jump. Like it's just like you have to have like a certain thing where you jump across from something, but you can't just like jump up and down and stuff like that. Like you have to like roll or do other stuff. And I was like, okay, that's kind of frustrating. And sometimes like depending on the level you have for the game, some bosses or like some minor characters you fight are unrealistically fair. Like I mean unfair, unrealistically unfair. And then there are some parts where it's just like this is fun. This is like a fun challenge right here. But then there's some parts where it's too easy. So like you have to find that perfect level for yourself. Cause like there are some levels where the level of difficulty where I was playing through it and I was just like, this makes no sense. All right. I'm the freaking God of War. How are these fodder characters able to kill me in 2 hits? Like what's going on here? And so like there's some things I have to adjust. But then there are other times where it's like I'm fighting someone who should be my equal. This feels too easy. What's going on here? So like there's a bunch of stuff like that. But like one thing I do like about this game, which I know some people had criticisms of, is they let you not only play as Kratos, but you also get to play as Atreus as well, his son. And so you get to like do missions as Atreus himself. And I like it more than what they made you do in like the Spider-Man games, because you're not helpless. Like you have like you're freaking Atreus, like you're son of the God of War. So you have like skills and fighting abilities and stuff like that you can upgrade. And there's all this stuff. Thor in this game is a fucking badass, dude. Like Thor is fucking intimidating as shit. Like that, like he is like a giant, and he's like this guy who he's built more like a strongman, like a competing strongman than like a bodybuilder or something like that, which a lot of people were upset about. Like, oh, say he's fat, but like no, when you see him and fight him, he is intimidating as fuck. And then like there's this whole story going on with him. Odin's played by freaking Eddie from Lost World, Jurassic Park, which I was like,
yeah, you
I was
showed
like,
me that.
I was like, I know this guy from something. I know this guy from something. But
I
was
know
great.
this dog.
I know this dog. And then like, there's other characters like of course from Norse mythology, like Heimdall in this is a little bitch. Like I fucking Heimdall is one of the most like cock-sucking bitch-ass motherfucker. It's just like, I'm so much superior to you because I see everything and shit like that. I was just like, man, fuck you. Fuck your bitch ass. So like that was a fight I was amped to do, because I'm gonna fuck this dude up. I am gonna fuck him up once I get a chance to go for him. Overall, the story, I think the story was really well done. The story like is very captivating. And again, I say this for me, because like okay, if this is your first God of War game and you have no idea who Kratos is, like let's say you didn't play God of War 2018 at all, or you didn't play any of those previous games, or so, like you're just like, oh, that looks like a fun game, and you play it and stuff like that. You will like you could be able to follow it, but there's a bunch of stuff where you're like, oh, okay, like like the dwarves and stuff like that, the dwarves who help build like your weapons and stuff like that. Like it's just like, oh yeah, it's fun to see like Brock and Sindri and how they react to talk and all this stuff. That's fun. how Freya, you get to talk to Freya and stuff like that, and she's like a pretty badass like Viking woman and stuff like that. But like you have to deal with repercussions from the last game. It's not just like, oh, everything's new. So I like that aspect. And then also like I I'm not gonna spoil anything, so don't worry. But like yeah, I would say this game hits so many emotional cues that it's just like, okay, fuck. Like when I got to the last, like there's a segment like if you just know Kratos as a character or stuff like that, when you get to it, it made me ugly cry hard. Like I was like drained for like an hour, shit like that. I was like, I can't watch this, man. I fucking can't watch this. Like it was fucking me up. And then I was just like, man, this is, I love it. So like, if the game actually made me tear up multiple times because there's certain things where it's just like, man, that's crazy. Like it's crazy the emotions just because like what this character growth has done. Like it's masterful. And yeah, I highly recommend it to anyone out there. Definitely check it out if you haven't got the chance. But I do recommend, if you haven't played the 3 previous God of Wars, at least play God of War 2018 and then go into this one, and then you'll appreciate the story. But yeah, it's like it was really
Cool.
Yeah, I need to play it.
yeah.
But it's $70, and I don't know if I have it in me to do that.
Yeah,
I
I might
don't
get
know
it
if I
around
can
the
support this shit,
holidays
Sony.
when I
Okay,
get
fine.
like
Now
a
Microsoft
gift
is
card
doing
or
it
something.
too.
On it.
No, I would say like also like there are what else? Like there are cool little upgrade things. Like okay, there's some weapons you get which I think are really awesomely crafted to certain people. Where it's just like, oh, no wonder this character knows how to use this weapon so well. Like this is great. Like also like there's this one scene where you fight Thor, and like this is in the trailer, so it's not like
Oh, you
like
fight
spoiler.
Thor? Spoilers.
Oh yeah, you fight Thor. Spoiler though, like when you're fighting Thor, like it's such a good fight because like Kratos is him. Like it seems like it's gonna be like, oh yeah, this guy seems reasonable to how this is going and stuff like that. But then like you just start going, and he's just like, man, what is this supposed to be the God of War I heard so much about? Come on, bring it, bitch! Like really, this is the one who they did all this stuff, and I was like, whatever. And it's like, really, fucking go. And then Kratos just fucking turns Super Saiyan and shit like, and it's just like it's so hype. It's so fucking hype. Like there's so many times where like I was just like, do I have to keep playing? Can I just watch this? Like this story is like really got me, right? I'm just like me playing. Like there was one scene. Oh god, no, this isn't a spoiler at all. But there was this one scene when I was playing, and I was just like, this is so damn good. I just kind of want to watch the rest of it like play out instead of like playing through it. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's what I will say. But after that, yeah, go ahead.
All right. All right. Couple more things, then we'll go into Q&A. So, another game that came out was Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Despite all of the very, very weird glitches and stuff,
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I beat the story and everything, and I played it a bit with Viva. She was playing with me on my Twitch stream. And surprisingly, we never had really any disconnection issues. The weird thing though is that sometimes it only happens in like the late game area where we can't see each other, and it's very strange. But the nice thing about like playing together online is that depending on your versions, if you have a version like a different version than the others, both Pokemon will spawn like around you. Both version exclusive Pokemon will spawn around you. So that's a good way of like, oh yeah, I can just catch it if you're in my game. So that's nice. This game was not ready to come out though. Like with how much like just graphical glitches there are.
At all.
Yeah.
My god. The glitches when people are throwing Pokeballs.
Yeah. The only thing I really
entire geometry disappears. Like Jesus
yeah.
Christ,
The only
man.
thing I really have happen in my game is like sometimes like a trainer will disappear in the background, or I'll see underneath the world a lot. That happens a lot. But as far as like the game overall though, like in gameplay wise, it's fun. It's fun to catch Pokemon and leveling up everything. And there's still some things that are in here that are or that are missing from here that were in Arceus. I think Arceus is still the better game as far as like the gameplay flow goes. This still has a pretty good gameplay flow, but nothing like with Arceus, because Arceus, where you could just like throw a Pokeball and just catch a Pokemon, you can't do that here. Thankfully, it is like a lot faster than previous games like Sword and Shield, with battling Pokemon. So the battles do go a bit faster, and it's much easier to like, go against multiple Pokemon at the same time. And also like for like grinding Pokemon, you can just put out your Pokemon in the Let's Go mode or whatever, and just tell your Pokemon to just like, oh yeah, kill that Pokemon, just grind some, and it'll auto battle, and that's very convenient when you're like just trying to level up a Pokemon. But overall, I like a lot of the new Pokemon that are in here. The world works in the way of where like after you have like the whole introduction with the tutorial and going to the school, they're like, okay, now either you can go to one of the gyms or one of the star bases, which is like the evil team this time, or go find one of the Pokemon Titans that for like this other storyline. And you can do that in like any order you want. Sort of. The thing is, there is no level scaling in the game for like gyms or any of the star bases or whatever. So if you go to the highest level gym, I mean, you're gonna die. Like, unless you grind it out really fast. So, but it sort of like leads you into certain directions. Like the first gym I went to technically isn't the first gym, or the lowest level gym. Because I went to the grass gym first, but technically the first gym that you're supposed to go to is the bug gym. So you can really do the gyms in like any order that you want. But overall, I'm having a lot of fun with the game, and I'm filling out the Pokedex now. With all the different Pokemon. And also I finally got a Dolphin Pokemon, so it gets a little bit of a pass. Though, like, I really wish they saved this game for next year and had Legends Arceus for this year, so that way both of those games could have more time to cook. Because they really needed to. But going back to Legends Arceus, when I look at that game, like, I remember back when it came out and when we first saw that game, that we were like, oh yeah, Arceus doesn't look that great. But then when it came out and we started playing it, it's like, oh, this is very fun. Like, this is like the gameplay loop I want Pokemon to be. And it adds a lot of stuff in the Pokemon formula with like great quality of life changes, and some of those are in Violet, like Violet and Scarlet and Violet. Like the move pool, whereas like Pokemon can just learn moves whenever. I thought they removed it, but then I looked at it after I realized, wait, none of my Pokemon are learning moves. And then I looked at the Pokemon summary, I was like, oh, I can just teach them the moves whenever. So that's very nice to have there. But Legends Arceus I would say is the better game, and also the better looking game, which is really weird because Arceus doesn't look that great, but it looks better than this game. That also might be because of the art direction too. The art direction in Arceus is a bit better.
Excuse me.
Oh Jesus!
Sorry.
Why directly into the mic?
Sorry.
But Tom, I know you played Arceus, but you haven't picked up Scarlet or Violet yet.
Yeah, I kind of decided I was gonna pass on it. It just didn't seem like my kind of thing. I didn't even I didn't even finish Arceus yet, but that seemed like enough of a new direction that'd be worth trying.
Yeah.
I just feel bad that these developers at Game Freak are just like getting run through the ringer and not given enough time to actually finish these projects.
Yeah.
And I'm doubly upset that it's never going to change, Because like, the Jimquisition did a great video on Scarlet and Violet. I think it was either this Monday or the previous Monday talking about it, where it's like, This is basically Cyberpunk all over again. Everything that Cyberpunk did wrong, Scarlet and Violet did wrong as well in terms of technical glitches and things like that, and just uh being a mess of a release, especially, after coming after one that was like pretty well received. Like The Witcher 3 was well received, Arceus, despite its issues, was well received. Then this comes out and it's just a technical like dumpster fire. And CD Projekt Red got fucking steamrolled for it. This is the best-selling Pokemon game of all time, and it's just like there's no reason for them to not release garbage because all the
Yeah.
Pokemon fans just buy it anyway. So they're just like, why bug fix? We don't need to, And until one of these games flops hard, it's never going to change. And Pokemon is too big to ever flop hard, so it's always going to be mediocre, and that hurts my soul because the first like handful of games were actually like some of the best titles on the hardware, and we're probably never going to get to that point ever again because there's no financial incentive to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
Thank God for Digimon though.
I did see like when this was coming out with the graphical glitches and everything, people was like, oh, it's time for the Switch Pro or like the successor to the Switch or anything. But like we just had some games come out like with the new like Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope game, the Bayonetta 3, like a bunch of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like that game, I don't know how that game runs on the Switch. With how it looks.
Right.
And it doesn't have.
It's not the hardware's fault.
It's not the hardware.
The game looks like a PS2 game, and it's running like garbage. There's no reason that this shouldn't be able to run better. It's just the lack of time to actually like optimize the game. They just haven't done any of that. Like the glitch where it's just like they didn't like normalize your character's movement speed. So if you plugged in a second Joy-Con and used both controllers, you ran at double speed. It's just like there was just no time to like add any of these very basic things that you need to do to like QA your game.
But yeah, like a lot of the problem here is that Pokemon is not just a game franchise; it's a media franchise. So they want to release stuff in tandem with everything else.
Well,
and until it gets separate from that, it's probably not going to change.
They should just, as sacrilege is to say, they should take a page from Activision's book with COD and just get like 3 studios working on these games in like 3-year cycles so you can get your yearly release, but each one of them has 3+ years in the oven.
Yeah.
God forbid we have a Pokemon game made by someone besides Game Freak, like in the main.
When a Pokemon game is made by someone besides Game Freak.
Snap ran great.
Yeah, but a new Pokemon Snap looks great. Like Pokemon Tournament looks great. But those are like completely different genres.
Right.
They need somebody on like the mainline series.
Comparison, but I don't think it's asking too much to have a Nintendo 64 looking Pokemon game run at 60 FPS. Like that seems like a pretty reasonable task under normal circumstances. But I don't know.
Anyway,
I just want. I'd make Pokemon great again. Put that on a hat and then turn it backwards and throw a Pokeball.
That was good.
All right, last thing before we go to Q&A. Let's talk about the Mario movie. Because it had its full trailer.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Chris Pratt isn't a good Mario voice. There, I said it. There. Boom.
That's what everybody's saying.
The coldest of takes.
I don't care.
Yeah, the coldest
it's
of
cold
takes.
because it was at the Penguin Village. Oh, whatever that fucking place is.
I feel like I'm in the minority when I say I don't really care for this movie so far.
Oh.
Yeah.
But Bowser's
great. I think that's what I said in the first teaser. I'm like, I want a Bowser movie. I don't want a Mario movie. Like, because like everything they're doing with Bowser seems way more entertaining. I don't really like how they're characterizing Mario in this movie. They're making him like the generic, kid-friendly protag, just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. He feels like Emmett, in a way.
No, I have seen that argument before. The thing is, like, what Nintendo wants with this movie, is that they want this to be his origin. So he's not gonna be great at a lot of these things in the beginning.
I don't know, man. I
So-
played Donkey Kong. Mario was pretty based even in that movie. So I don't know if we're trying to rewrite history here, but I mean, I get it. I understand why, but like, I guess maybe I'm just that much of a purist. But as someone who's like played, you know, like the Mario and Luigi games, and like the dynamic between Mario and Luigi is great and
Yeah.
funny, and like I wished it was more like that, where like Mario was like the confident one and Luigi was just a bumbling doofus, and just got shat on by everybody unjustly and things like that. Like it, I don't know. It feels like an Illumination movie, which makes sense because it's an Illumination movie.
But it doesn't
when
look
you would
like
ask
one,
me,
which
like,
is weird to me.
it it is like do you feel like this movie's like super Uncanny Valley? Because I do. Like not
I
in
feel
terms
like
of
it looks fine. I don't know.
it looks good. It's
Mhm.
just like after because like there's like a style that Mario has been rendered in and like proportions and just like the way he looks has been consistent for like almost 30 years, and these like facial shapes and proportions just slightly different, and I look at it and it's just a little off, you know, and it's enough to kind of make me do a double take. I'm sure the movie will be fun. I'm not saying that it's going to be bad. It's just I mean, I can't even say it's not what I hoped it would be because I didn't really have any expectations for this in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I'm a cold, uncaring nihilist now, and everything is going to be bad anyways. Not really, but I don't know. It's about as good as it probably could be, I suppose.
Yeah.
Given where it's coming from and the fact that there's just going to be so much money involved, and I can't imagine the amount of like execs from both Nintendo and Illumination and Universal that have been in the room, like change this, change that, do this, do that. The fact that it even still looks like Mario is probably a miracle in of its own.
Yeah.
Yep.
What
Yep.
what do you
yep.
what do you think, Saber?
I and it looks like it'd probably be a fan servicey film that is just, you know, fun moments that folks will run off and get way too excited about and give way too much credit for Illumination doing the bare minimum. That is what I think.
Wow.
Well, I think it'll have a good McDonald's kids meal. There you go.
That is probably true.
That's what I think. And those little toys, like those little carts that you like pull back on the table, and then they like rev up and they like drive off, and that's fun for
Did
the
the
whole
Mario Kart part feel a little shoehorned?
Oh, very.
That felt a little weird.
Why are they doing a Mario Kart thing so fast? Like that's just like it's just hey, recognize this? I know Mario Kart. I play that, and it's just
Remember
like
Rainbow Road?
remember
Yeah,
Rainbow Road? Yeah, I played it like
Still
3 hours
traumatized.
ago. It's yeah. I think it's yeah. I'm more just like we'll see. But again, it's just one of those things where like people like I think Saber did hit the point where it's just like I do think people will overhype it to a point like oh this is the best fucking thing I like. It's sort of like with Sonic.
Oh,
You know, because
people definitely did it with Sonic.
no, because like with Sonic, it's just like they're like, oh, this is the best video game movie when Mortal Kombat 95 still exists. But it's just like, oh my god, it's just like out there with. It was a fine movie.
The thing is,
there
like,
was
people
cool
were
stuff
doing
in
that
it.
with the first Sonic movie, and that's like,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. The first Sonic
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. I haven't even
Yeah.
seen Sonic 2 because Sonic 1 was so mid to me. Like, I'm glad
Sonic 2 is a lot
it
better.
wasn't a disaster, but like, again, I don't know. Like, I think I'll probably like this more than the Sonic
Yeah.
movies because
I don't know.
it's
Judging by
animated,
what the
Sonic's
chat's saying, it
animated.
sounds like you guys are just jaded.
You know what? That's totally fine. I'm sticking to my guns here though. I think it'll be pretty mid. It'll be like another 7 out of 10. It'll be like Strange World levels of quality. There you go. That's my hot take for the evening.
Yeah, I mean, I
like
am.
Kingdom of the
Charlie
Strange
Day
World.
Luigi. That's what I'll say.
Charlie
Yeah.
Day Luigi was actually pretty cool. I kind of like
Yeah.
that.
I like him.
I will
It
say
sucks
that
it's not gonna be
like
that much.
I'm more excited now because like before I had so low expectations. Well, like when we reacted to the cast being revealed, and the fact that it was like we already
Sorry.
knew it was going to be Illumination. Why do you keep burping into the mic?
I'm sorry, I ate an onion. I told you it's those 8 chili dogs I ate earlier. So fucking.
What are you, Sonic?
Yeah, no, I guess. Oh.
Anyway, but
I look forward to 2 years from now when the movie's like
yeah.
out on Blu-ray and everything, that somebody runs Charles Martinet's voice through an AI and they just overdub all of Chris Pratt's lines with actual Charles Martinet AI generated voice, and then the movie becomes way more watchable.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna move on to Q&A now. So if anybody wants to ask questions,
This is the last chance. Make sure you ask
for a while.
For a while.
Yeah, so you can ask questions through super chats or through Twitter, and I have a few here. One from Del18 says, with the show going on hiatus as well as 2022 coming to close, what are your best moments from this year in POS as a YouTube creator or in general?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I was like, oh, that was fun. It was nice to see go to Gabe's wedding. That was very lovely. It was nice to, MomoCon was fun earlier year. It's always
MomoCon was very fun.
Yeah,
MomoCon
it's
was a great highlight for sure.
always fun to go to that. I mean, it's just the generic stuff. Hanging with people, eating good food, stuff like that. Just enjoying the time and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, that's how I feel. Like it's just been pretty good.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Shout out to when Matt came down for a couple weeks and visited. We hung out and had too much Taco Bell. Good times.
Taco.
Enigma Prince asking, what would be your personal choice for movie of the year and best cartoon or anime for 2022?
Anime 2022. You said Proud Family?
Yeah. What the Spy
Yeah,
Family?
yeah. I was about to say like what? No.
No,
Yeah,
Spy Family.
Spy Family's pretty good. It is pretty good. Honestly, it does a lot. But Chainsaw Man's been doing a lot too. Like, yeah, that's
Oh yeah,
it's
Chainsaw
good
Man's
to finally
great.
have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Attack on Titan.
Trying to think best cartoon. The Cuphead show is very good.
No, they didn't have My Woman in season 3, so fuck it. Fuck that. She only was in 2 episodes. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? I want her in like at least 3 or 2, 4, 7. Or every episode.
But movie of the year.
You haven't seen Avatar 2 yet.
Trying to remember everything that came out this year.
Dragon Ball Superhero was pretty based.
I was gonna say Turning Red. Turning Red's really good.
Turning Red, pretty good.
Turning Red is a movie that I think is a pretty good movie, but I just love it way more than I think I'm supposed to. I just love that movie. So definitely one of my favorite Pixar's.
Yeah, it's a solid film. Definitely yes. Definitely A.
I didn't see a ton of movies this year, but looking through the list of stuff that came out,
you saw the Batman, right?
I was about to say, I think the Batman takes it for me. I fucking loved that movie.
Okay.
It was so good. And I will say, Jax,
yeah,
my statement of it being my favorite portrayal of Batman live action still holds. I have not
Batman, Bruce. Like Bruce too?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I do. It's definitely like a different take, but I really think it worked thematically for what they're trying to do in the film. And yeah, I'm surprised. I thought maybe when the after a couple months, I would kind of settle back into like liking the Nolan films more. They're really good, but I just really like what they did with this one. So
No, all right, fair point. Fair point. Mm.
Oh yeah, the Rise of the TMNT movie came out this year. That's great.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Rise of TMNT movie.
that was really good.
That was really good. Second best TMNT movie to date.
Let's see. Del18 asking thoughts on Elon Musk's takeover on Twitter.
Oh God.
What do you
don't
think,
like
Tom?
him.
I just remember he said it would only cost $9 billion to solve world hunger. So I just would like to point out that he spent like 5 times that much on Twitter.
Isn't he a
and solved the
trillionaire too?
Nobody's
Now?
a
I
trillionaire yet.
Wasn't
Not
there
yet,
some
yeah.
whatever? Yeah. So it's just like, well, he's stupidly there. So it's just like, yeah, just whatever. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Not-
Fuck him. No,
not
but
a
it's just
fan.
like, it's just like his ass. I love how he got called out recently because of fucking Kanye's crazy ass just being like, yeah, it's just like the enemy of my enemy. It must be dealt with. So shit. It's just like fuck.
Nathaniel Foga here asking, get anything good for Black Friday this year? What's weird about Black Friday this year is that there weren't any good deals.
Still going on. It's like still going on. Every ad
Yeah.
I got for Black Friday, I'm still getting follow-up emails like it's still on sale. I'm like, it's just like Black Quarter 4.
Yeah.
That's what it's become. All the sales started in like the end of October.
Yeah, and
they
there's
just keep
nothing
going.
really that good this year.
No.
Yeah.
There's nothing I found worth trampling over some innocent people, so I didn't bother.
Yeah, and I've also been like hearing that from like people who work in retail. They're like, there's not really a lot of people compared to previous years.
Well, it's a rough economy out there right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to hear Jax's answer to this one. Kevin asking, if you guys were either in Equestria or the human world, the equestrian human world, like Equestria Girls world, and you were about to propose to your favorite female character, would you do so in public or private, and how extravagant would the wedding / after party be?
I mean, like, fucking Fluttershy would have a panic attack in private. Just like have like a fucking like whole thing, and I'm just like, baby, calm down, okay? It's just like, oh god, like she would just be so nervous and probably pass out and be like, oh, this is embarrassing. So it'd probably have to be private. But then like, so, I mean, like, I feel like Fluttershy seems like the type where she would like warm up afterwards to the idea, and then like we would just all be going to like town and stuff like that, and having like a perfect thing and enjoying the food and stuff like that. So yeah, honestly, Fluttershy in private, and then party. I mean, I don't really think it'd be any different than fucking Gabe's wedding, to be honest. Okay, it's just like no flying.
Enigma Prince on Twitter asking, so what are each of your thoughts on the whole AI artistry and app debacle, and how long until AI is basically in control every facet of human society?
Oh, yeah, that's a question, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think of AI art, Tom, as an artist?
I'm pretty mixed on it, honestly.
Okay.
I have a whole bonus podcast on my Patreon talking about this. If anybody cares, patreon.com/PolysStageU. My thought really at this point is that I'm kind of two minds. My biggest issue with AI art right now is the fact that these data sets are kind of mostly black boxes and we don't know where all the data is coming from. I think the fact that like they're probably like crawling the internet and pulling tons of images just from like people's DeviantArt accounts and like your Facebook photos and things like that, and that's where these data sets are being trained on, where they may have permission to do this because of like terms of services you've agreed to, but it's still highly unethical because like you agreed to these terms of conditions before this technology was really propagated. So you had no way of really agreeing to it, knowing what that would be, especially if you went on like a portfolio website or something and you're publishing your art there. That is a huge problem. And there's unfortunately really no way to fix it because Like, let's say because like I think a lot of the things I'm hearing about it right now is that like, oh, like they're just pulling images out of like your Google Photos and your Google Drive and uploading them to these models, and it's just like you agreed when you sign up for your Google account that they can do whatever they want with your data, including just pulling your family photos and uploading them to AI art models. Like, what are you gonna do? Stop using Google? It's like, no, of course you're not. And like, even if that's not expressly in there, all you have to do is update the Google app, update the terms of service, and be like, if you want to keep using it, you got to do it. So there doesn't really seem to be any way to like undo that, because I think it was Stable Diffusion said they're going to try and start building their models with a way to opt out. But like China's already trying to be the number one thing in this AI stuff, and they're not going to give two shits about opting out. So that's a big problem with it, simply because like it's just because there's no legal recourse for visual artists, because there's Stable Diffusion's doing another model called Dance Diffusion, which is about music, and they're only training it on uh, uh, Creative like Commons and non-licensed music, because if they ever tried to put licensed music into this data set, the RIAA would immediately kill them. You know,
yeah.
because like you can't even like download a fucking torrent without the RIAA trying to fucking murder you. So if there was an entire data set full of like their entire catalog, they could be sued into oblivion. So the fact that there's no equivalent to the RIAA for visual artists means that they're just like, just fucking take it. What are they gonna do? Bitch, piss, moan, whatever. So that part of it I don't like, but it seems like an inevitability. On the other hand, though, this could be a very useful tool. I've messed around with Stable Diffusion a bit just to see like what the fuss is about, and it seems right now that technology is very promising. Like, it's very powerful in what it can do within certain parameters. People are finding ways to better like control the poses and stuff. Like, one of the things you can do with novel AI is you can actually upload an image of a pose, and then it'll generate something based on like that pose, and it's good at recognizing like human poses and like human faces and whatever the data set's trained on. So you can potentially do a lot of stuff with that. There was another one that I was using where I could like type in like create a nighttime HDRI map, which is like a special kind of texture for 3D programs, and it would just generate that. Which is super useful. Instead of having to go to like a website and try and find the specific kind of HDRI I'd want to use for a 3D project, it can just generate one because it knows what an HDRI is. So like, in terms of like using it for like reducing like technical load, in terms of like the very like simple technical problems like that, it's cool. Another thing I was doing, like they have like GPT chat, which is like a chat bot now that can do a lot of tech stuff. I tried a prompt like create a plugin for Blender that allows you to dither textures at rendering, and it just spit out Python code for a plugin, and I'm like, holy shit, that's pretty nuts. And then I was like, create a portfolio website with responsive design. It spit out the HTML and CSS for a free flowing responsive portfolio website. Like, pretty handy. So I feel like the cat's out of the bag with this, and I don't think it's going to be possible to go back. And I feel like to a certain degree, it's almost hypocritical to get too butthurt about like the tools in and of themselves, because we've been down this path so many times before where it's just like, at the dawn of like Photoshop and stuff, it's like, well, if you don't know how to mix your colors and blend your colors with paints, you're not a real artist. If you're using a soft edged brush instead of learning how to blend colors together and slowly dither from one value to another, you're not a real artist. If you're not handwriting and hand binding your books, you're not a real author. Like, how dare you use a typewriter? So it feels like, to a certain degree, this can also be that. The problem really comes with the theft thing, because I'm not somebody who ever wants to like gatekeep art. The fact that I've like spent dozens of years trying to get better at art in different mediums shouldn't mean that everyone else has to do that if a better option exists. It would be the same thing as thinking like, oh, I spent my entire life learning how to draw photorealistic portraits. How dare you have a camera? Like, that's ridiculous. perhaps I'm a little less worried about it simply because it seems right now that it has more of a difficult time doing like stylized characters, which is where I really lean into. Like I've tried to take like a picture of Azumi and have it spit out something more detailed. Like, can it just make my character but better? And it doesn't do that yet. I tried multiple prompts and different ways of writing things. And if I just type in what Azumi looks like, it doesn't spit out Azumi. It spits out a random hodgepodge of like clip art raccoons with like weird ninja geese pasted on top of them. So like what I'm trying to do cannot really easily be replicated yet, but that's not why I'm not worried about it, because it's only a matter of time before it can. I feel like at the end of the day, like anything else, like Photoshop vastly changed the way image manipulation and image generation work. Like it leveled the playing field in a huge way. There's so many things that Photoshop can do. Layers in and of themselves as a concept change the way art was made. Instead of having to sit there and draw your entire canvas in brown as like a base canvas so it can like enhance the colors, and then you had to blend your colors on your easel and paint on top of it. It's just like layer mask, go. You like really like made it simpler, made it better. And if this tool allows to like take a lot of that stuff out, like one of the things they're trying to develop right now is like animation AI. So instead of having to like animate by hand or get motion capture data, you can just type in what you want the animation to do and it'll spit out an FBX file with that animation data that you can bake onto a character. That would be pretty rad. So like there's a lot of potential applications for it. It really just, the data sets, in my opinion, are the most worrying part. If we can ethically source the data sets, I think this could be a pretty big boon for assisting artists. I know there's also a lot of worry about replacing artists, and I think that's probably my other big problem. And I guess not even a problem, but like a very like,
or replacing other
unfortunate
things,
side
like
effect of
what you
this.
said about code, because like I saw people saying like, what's going to happen when we have AI that spits out codes, like
Well, exactly. Like that's the whole thing. Like I think a lot of like even with artists, right? Because like I think professional artists are always gonna be okay, probably for the most part. Like maybe I'll eat my words in like a year or two, but even if these tools become so prevalent, you're gonna need to have a certain degree of technical proficiency in order to kind of prompt it to generate what you need it to do, and then integrate that into whatever proprietary pipeline Pixar, DreamWorks, whatever is using. But like there's a very active market. Like you go on Twitter and there are people like, I need a persona drawn, pay me $50. Like that's how people make their living, is like getting $50 to $150 commissions of just their persona. But if you can go onto, you know, Dali and be like wolf persona with a tie-dye shirt, and you can get something good, those people are fucked. You know, they're never going to get a commission again, or it's going to drive down the value immensely. So I think creating your own style, like really having a very unique aesthetic, or something that like can't be easily replicated through a system like that, is going to be very important going forward if you're in that ecosystem of like providing work like that. I think generic styles are going to get very hurt by this, which is unfortunate, but I don't see a way around it. And that's enough. I've been going on for too long.
Ozzy asking here, thoughts on the release trailer of The Mean One, the Grinch-themed horror parody? Jax, did you see that?
I'm sorry, what? See what?
Thoughts on the release of The Mean One, the Grinch-themed horror parody?
I saw images of the trailer. I didn't watch it because that Winnie the Pooh trailer, I was just, this is garbage. And I was just, I've seen porn parodies better than this shit, so I ignored it. So I didn't. My curiosity didn't get caught that.
And then also from Ozzy saying thoughts on the passing of Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. Yeah, that was unfortunate.
That's really sad because it's like him and then like Jason David Frank, and then like I think we've had a couple recent more deaths, because I know like Kirstie Alley from Cheers sadly passed away, a couple too. It's sad because like I didn't know that he was going through anything. He is the definitive Batman, like the definitive like best Batman in my opinion. Like he's just like that. Like of course like him and Adam West, but like you know it's gonna be weird because like I'm not gonna say like, oh, he's irreplaceable in the sense of like no, that's the wrong way to phrase it, because like he is just so perfectly on his pedestal that it's just like no one can be able to match that sort of voice. We have people who do Batman voices that are pretty damn good. Like we hear them, like there's so many different Batman voices, especially if you watch the DC animated series, or like, you know, if you watch the DC animated movies or anything like that, there's like a ton of great Batman voices and stuff like that. But it always is like, oh, when's Kevin coming in? Kevin was always like the top G when it literally came to that. So I was like, oh, I always loved hearing him and stuff. Always great to hear the stuff he was in. He was such a talented guy, like not even with the voice acting stuff, but just with like other stuff in general. So he will be very greatly missed, just the same as like a Jason David Frank will be very greatly missed too.
Yeah.
Sad thing.
And then from Brandon King asking, apparently today is the 20th anniversary of Kids Next Door. What are your favorite characters and/or episodes?
And that show is apparently really good, and I just missed my like age range. I think
You were a
Jack, you watched
teenager.
it though, right?
No, I watched it and I remember like having I told Paleo this. Like I remember having like a whole day where I was super upset because I really love Kids Next Door and I was turning 13. I was like, I can't be a part of Kids Next Door anymore because I'm gonna be 13 tomorrow and shit. Like I mean, like being like that was so stupid. But like, yeah, I thought it was a fun show. My favorite episode, of course, is like the fucking number 4 coup where they mimic like different things, like they go from comic books, The Matrix, all that stuff. I thought that was just a really fun episode. There are a ton of episodes that they cover where I'm like, oh, this is really good. The ending again pulls on that trope, made me tear up. I was like, okay, this is really good there. Of course, there were some things that were just disgusting, like that whole like apple pie, whatever. I don't remember. I burned it from my memories. There was something to do with like pink eye and apple pie. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I burned it from my memory. But like, yeah, that I thought the show was actually a fun show, very creative. I love when the pilot first came on. Like I think it was like What a Cartoon. Like they had a bunch of pilots come on, and that was one of them because they're trying to get into a pool. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun show, and I was always curious if they were going to do a sequel with it, like because I know they were supposed to do some space thing, but and they never got around. I always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We did get a super chat here from Del18 asking, use Spotify? What are your hot takes with Wrapped? I don't use Spotify anymore. I use YouTube Music, which has a lot of other things on there that just aren't on Spotify.
Yeah,
I never use Spotify.
Yeah, I don't use Spotify. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, go ahead.
I stopped using Spotify. I use my friend's server now. And he has like what's called a subsonic, which you can like you can put music on that you own. I just buy my music from Amazon now because they actually let you download the files, which is really nice. The number of places where you can download files, it's like Amazon.
Oh, there's a lot. They're just not legal.
They're just not legal, right? No, Amazon's the legal one. I was like, oh, they actually let me download MP3s. Remember when you could like do that? Anyways, but off track. But we just load it onto a server, and then you can download an app. There are multiple subsonic apps that allow you to download those tracks onto your phone and play them offline, but still like connected to your subsonic server. So I can listen to all the music that I want to without paying Spotify now, and it's very nice. It's nice. There's just some amount of like guiltlessness that comes with being like, I'm not paying anyone, and I'm only using something that my friend and I are upkeeping. This is ours. It's nice.
YouTube to
sounds pretty
MP3
great.
to this day.
So
That's
what?
all I use. I say YouTube to MP3 to this
Oh
day.
my
That's
God.
all I use. That's still all I've been using, and it works wonders.
What's
I'm-
pretty sick, I switched back to Android because I was just like, I can't deal with YouTube ads. And I refused to pay for premium because die. And they have this app called New Pipe, which lets you just like watch YouTube videos. The problem is you can't log in with your account, which is kind of a problem, but it also means I use YouTube a lot less now. But it has sponsor block built in. It has blocks all ads by default. And then you can download any video as a video or MP3 file, and I'm just like, this is how God intended. We're a country again. It feels great.
Yeah.
So I should use that more.
It really is nuts like because I searched for like a legitimate bit of time. I was like, what? Where can you download music like that you own when you purchase it? And the answer is not really anywhere. That is a bygone era, I guess. Which is crazy.
Fucking
Can
wild.
you imagine owning things when you buy them? Could you actually imagine?
It's a dream now.
See, Ozio asking if you still liked G5 of MLP, which is better, Tell Your Tale or Make Your Mark? I'd say I enjoy the Tell Your Tale shorts a bit more than the Make Your Mark series.
I don't the show. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Wait, which one would you rather, Jax?
Oh, Tell Your which one's the 2D one? Because
That's
that
that's
one.
Tell Your Tale. That's
Tell
the
Your
2D
Tale
one.
then, yeah. Tell Your Tale by a large margin. Like
Weren't
there's
there
like,
more episodes of the TV show?
yeah,
What?
there's a Christmas special that came out recently.
Yeah, they just have a new special, new Christmas special,
okay.
but that's it at the moment.
yeah.
Is the MLP fandom, like G5 fandom, dead?
No.
It still, is there
It's
any hope
not
left?
dead. Like I follow a lot of people that like are still like very into it, but
Right.
like yeah, it's
Do they need help?
It's definitely much smaller than the G4 fandom though.
Yeah, because it's just like I'm just gonna be like honest, like it's just the quality just is not there. Again, it's one of those situations where I look at the show and I'm like, okay, yeah, this just isn't for me. And then and it's just like, and it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, it'll pick up in the future. It's more like I've given you this many like episodes and stuff like that, and like I'm at this point in life where it's like if I have to go this far into something and be like, oh no, it gets really good around episode 38, and it's just like, nah, okay, I'm sorry, it's just
Good thing you're not starting
Like One Piece.
yeah. No, well, the thing with like One Piece is actually pretty damn good.
I like
Yeah.
the Variety arc, which comes in faster than 38 episodes, I guess, if that's our cut off.
I mean, no, like One Piece, like that was just. I thought One Piece was good from Ep 1 to like that's see, no, that's a different thing. Okay, because again, like for me personally, it was like, all right, this is Libby. What's his deal? Okay, that's interesting. And then I'm like, okay, how's this go? And then this go and this go. The one show I've been like Naruto took me like a little thing where I was like, okay, I can see how this goes. And then like Hunter x Hunter, like that was another one where like people were like, well, this or that, but it's just like it varies for people. Like for me, it's just that like there are shows like fucking okay, here's a good one. JoJo's, that was one where I'm just like, you have to. I did not like the first arc of JoJo. I'm just gonna be completely. I did not like that arc. I think that's a cold take, but like, yeah, I did not care for it. Second arc with Joseph, I liked a lot more. Third arc, I took some breaks in between because it dragged in a lot of places. But yeah, that was one of those shows where I was just like, like that's what it is. But yeah, like if a show does that to me nowadays, I'm like, yeah, I'm not. It's not for me.
Okay.
Well,
that's all the questions we have. So
you got one from fucking where is it? Karai.
Where?
Oh no, like there's one. You got one from Brandon King. Did you get it? Oh no, fuck.
Which one? Because that was the K&D one from Brandon King.
Yeah.
The Kids Next Door one we were just talking about?
Is that what it is? Hold on.
Yeah, Kids Next Door.
Do you see this one? Like above Enigma Prince.
What does it say?
Hold on, I'll link it. Yeah, you're tagged in it. Like all of us are. It's weird. Huh. Weird. I'll link it. This. Where
See
is
it as well.
This one.
Karai? Yeah, I don't see that one. What the fuck?
Did you block him?
No. That's weird.
That is
yeah,
weird.
I'm tagged in it, but like weird. I don't see the mention. So if y'all could have if y'all could have a crossover between any cartoon series, what would you want to see? And for Jax, before you say Turtles Forever 2, who do you think would be the best villain for the film? Lord Dreg, Shredder, or Krang? Shredder.
I didn't say alright. Let me see.
I'm just gonna crossover between any cartoon series. I mean, I wanted to have something between Adventure Time and regular show. They had a comic for that, but they never actually had anything.
Well, what
as a
happened in the
cartoon.
comic?
I don't know. I never read it.
Oh, okay. But I was funny is like I already posted this on like Twitter, so I was like, I said in my opinion, if they do Turtles Forever 2, that the main villain should be like it should start with Rise Krang, but 2003 Shredder because he's a shifty little bitch. Like he'll always be like, no, I'm gonna fucking find a way, and like he would find a way to take the armor, modify it, and then he'd be like the final boss that they all fight. Like I think that would just be fucking hype. Like again, like all of them just like grouped up, like let's fucking go, bro, shit like that. I think that would just be super cool. Or Street Sharks and Street Sharks in TMNT. Ooh,
Sick.
Yeah.
Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars, and Extreme Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Dude,
That'd be
there's some
hype.
sushi. I want Street Sharks to be revived. Let's fucking go.
Dude, let's do it.
it.
Let's fucking do it. What about you, Saber? Anything?
What was the question?
It was what would you prefer for like if there was a cartoon crossover, what would you prefer? Like to see, like out of anything, or just a crossover of anything. Like, oh, I would love to see those two characters interact in like a special.
I don't know.
King of the Hill and what?
King of the Hill and Simpson, Family Guy,
I already
early
did that.
King of the Hill. They had a one-off joke. Damn it! Oh, okay, I told you we shouldn't come here.
Has Been Hotel.
King of the Hill and Has Been Hotels. Well, dang it! So you're a radio demon, are you? Oh, that'd be funny. Okay.
Do these flames run on propane? That's a clean burn in hell, I tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, but that's it. So I don't know when we'll come back. Like I said, it might be sometime in the spring. But thanks for coming out. I'll still be streaming on Twitch and stuff, and I'll probably do some like new streams every so often on this channel, so it doesn't go under the 4,000 hour watch time. But anyway, thanks for coming out, and we'll see you on like whether oh,
Live long and
well, wait, we got one more super chat here from Delatine. It says, "Hey, One Punch Man season 3 has been leaked. This time it's animated by Mappa."
I feel bad for Mappa at this point.
Yeah, they're doing so much.
They're doing Chainsaw Man, Attack on Titan, possibly Berserk, Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's just like now One Punch Man. It's just like y'all are very talented.
Yeah, I mean, after
bad.
seeing like some of the scenes in Chainsaw Man, I was like, oh yeah, that'll work with One Punch Man. Yeah,
That'll work very
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
but it's just like I just feel bad. I hope they're not overworked there. Just like shit. That's awesome though.
Jax,
Yes,
everyone in Japan is overworked.
they are.
yeah.
The map is just putting out so many bangers recently. It's just like shit.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, I'll see you whenever, whether on my Twitch streams or any other new streams that I might do here, and then we'll have a podcast some other time, maybe in spring, like I said. But thanks for coming out. We'll see you next time. Bye.
All right, people. Y'all have a good
Later.
one.